You know when people feel so invisible and that nobody can touch them? That's how females feel when they have control over a man's life. There's a lot of ruthless girls out here and they don't feel no ways at all treating a guy like he ain't nothing, stealing his money. Matter of fact, taking his money, laughing in his face and walking away. A lot of girls don't want to believe that they're insecure. They don't think they're insecure. You know, they're very in denial. What is up, my BBossBaddies and my bad mind fellas? It is your girl Bosana and welcome BBossArmy. So as you guys can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about why insecure women use men. So it is, of course, should be simp, guys, because no alpha out here is letting women use them. But you guys know there's a lot of guys that say they're alpha and somehow get in a sticky situation and somehow the woman ended up using him, okay? So we're going to be talking all about that. So make sure you guys watch until the end to get everything because it's very, very important. So you guys already know the routine. Make sure you check out my Patreon. Make sure you check out my other social media. And please make sure you guys hop onto my other YouTube channel. I told you guys it's like personal life and all these good things that you guys need to go see. So make sure you hop on there and subscribe and do your thing on there, okay? So let's actually get into this. So you guys already know the routine. We start from 5, go down to 1. So that means what? You gotta watch until the end to get the number 1 thing, okay? So number 5 on my list for why insecure women use men is their chance of control. A lot of women grew up without their dad. A lot of women have a lot of empty pieces and things that they run to so they can escape those feelings. So for example, a lot of girls can turn to drugs. I'm not saying that there's so many girls out here, just using this as an example, turning to drugs because all your life you've been going through, you know, being left and people kicking you out of their life and treating you like you ain't nothing and all these things that made you start feeling like I'm missing something inside of me and you've been hurting for so long, right? So you turn to drugs and that's where you have your escape. And part of the escape is a feeling of having control of your life, but realistically you don't have control. It's just numbing the pain, numbing the feeling. What insecure women will do because they have that hurt, the pain, all these things that they didn't find a different way to numb, they decide to go for men and then they use them and they don't feel no ways because there's a lot of ruthless girls out here and they don't feel no ways at all treating a guy like he ain't nothing, stealing his money. Matter of fact, taking his money, laughing in his face and walking away. A lot of girls do it and they don't care. And that's really because that's how they numb their feelings. They numb their feelings from feeling joy because they have advantage over a man. And you know, men are supposed to be masculine. Men are supposed to be alpha. They're supposed to be beastie, right? Big, all that. So if you can have advantage over someone that's supposed to be like that, you know how much control that brings into your life, or at least it makes you feel like you have. And that's what it is for these girls. They can't have control over their life. They don't have control. They don't know how to take the hurt that they have and switch it into motivation or switch into some positivity, make themselves feel like, okay, I've been through this, but this is going to be the reason why I'm going to get things done. This is going to be what's going to keep me going. I don't want this to be what I want to be living. This is not my, life. I don't want this life. My past doesn't determine my future, right? They don't do that. They do the complete opposite. So they want control, and what they're going to do is go use a man. Meanwhile, they want to say they're not insecure. They want to ignore those feelings. And it's like, as soon as they can keep taking advantage, they have that control. And that control is over another person's life, over a man's life, not their own life. Number 4 on my list is builds their confidence and their ego, of course. So a lot of insecure women, they literally do this just because they like to feel like they have that type of, back to control, they have that type of ability to be able to take over somebody's life, get what they want, and use a man for all that he has. And then it feels inside, it's like, oh, okay, I'm winning over here. I know what I'm doing. I can get whatever I want. You know when people feel so invisible and that nobody can touch them? That's how females feel when they have control over a man's life. And then a guy can come into her life and it could be that rude guy, that bad guy for her, and break her. And then all of a sudden she's going to be talking the most shit like, oh, all guys are trash, all guys are this. She's just going to run her mouth about all guys and putting them in the same category. But yet it was her using all these guys, even though they were simps, she was still using them. Because even if you are a simp, a female should not be taking advantage of you, right? That's just, you should, common sense. You shouldn't be doing it. People do it, girls do it, of course, but that's not supposed to be the case. So in cases like that, girls are ruthless, like I said. So for them, that means nothing. It builds their confidence and it keeps their ego going. And it's like, you guys have to take it like this. Girls need their ego so they can survive out here. That's how it seems nowadays. If your ego is not up, you don't find ways to keep boosting it and feeding it, it's like you're gonna feel like you ain't shit, you're not that big, you know, you're gonna feel like you're at the low and you want to be a baddie, to a point where it's becoming so toxic because you're feeling like this is how it's supposed to be so much. And I'm not going to talk much about this society in this video, but you guys know this is what it takes to fit into society nowadays with women. So it just means that if her ego, like I said, is not up, her confidence isn't getting boosted, what she's gonna go do is use a guy, and that obviously happens to be the simp, right? Like I said, and because of that, it's gonna keep her going. Number 3 is can't face the truth. Men are their therapy. So a lot of women that are insecure, and let's just say this before we move on, you guys have to keep in mind, a lot of girls don't want to believe that they're insecure. They don't think they're insecure. You know, they're very in denial, okay? So let's just keep that in mind, because a lot of this stuff will make more sense, because you'll start thinking like, okay, well, if a woman's insecure, but no, it's not if. They don't know, they don't believe it, they don't want to think about it, all of that, right? So back to what I was saying with number 3, can't face the truth. Men are their therapy. So because of the way that they're so insecure, all the problems that they have, all the guilt, it could be guilt or it could just be hurt, all the things that are so bad, right, negative, it's hurting them so much. So, you know, like I told you back in the beginning, where you find an escape, you find something that's going to heal you or numb the pain. And that's how it is with a lot of girls. They don't want to face it, right? They absolutely don't want to face anything. So the whole truth, they put it behind it or they blur it out, okay? And now when it comes down to men, they use that as therapy. They use that to numb their pain, because they have to turn to something, and it has to be men, because there's so many simps out here that girls can turn and use. And it sucks because a lot of guys out here, they hear this stuff, right? They know that they're the reason why women won't face the truth, and they're not able to face the truth. They don't have to face the truth because of them, because they still are there. They're still giving the girl needs and wants, right? And that's all on them, right? The simps that keep doing it. So understand, when I say men are their therapy, that means the money that guys are supplying her, all the things that they're giving her, that's her therapy. You know, when people are shopaholics and all they do is shop, that's legit their therapy, right? And that's the same thing with women. Their therapy is to go to men and take whatever they can. That's their therapy. And they feel so good. They forget about what's really the truth, how unhappy they truly are, okay? So let's move on to the next thing on my list. And this is number 2. Number 2 on my list is getting back at them for their anger, okay? So this is crazy, because a lot of girls, like I said, they deal with that one guy that's a complete asshole, that destroys her ego, that makes her feel like she ain't shit, right? That happens with that one woman, okay? Now, guess what? Everybody's our enemy. It doesn't matter if you're a simp. It doesn't matter if you're an alpha. It doesn't matter what type of man you are. Any man that comes into her life, she just sees evil. So when she's trying to get back, she's trying to get back at that man that did her dirty. But what happens is, a lot of these girls, even though some girls that are good girls do run into bad guys, there's still girls out here that did all this dirt, treated guys like shit, and then they have that one guy that treated them like shit, and now everybody's getting treated like shit from her. That's how it just goes. So now her anger is going towards every single person, and that means any man that comes into her life, especially the simps, especially the nice guys, they're gonna get used, and she has to get back. That anger that she has inside, it's not gonna be towards that guy, because most likely that guy's probably not in her life anymore. They probably blocked each other. They don't have any contact. Okay, or maybe he ghosted her, you never know. But she has so much built up anger, and the only way she can get it out is by coming at guys, going for all guys, talking so badly about every single guy. And that's the insecurity that built in, because that man that treated her so badly made her feel that way, made her feel like she's less of a woman, and made her feel like she's not that girl that she feels or was before. And that ego drop extremely. So that means now she has to find a way to keep going, to keep pushing and making herself feel better. And that's all the stuff that I listed above, the confidence, you know, the ego. So the last thing on my list, number 1, is to prove a point. This is so simple out of everything, right? But to prove a point is the biggest factor because of the fact that women want everybody else to know, and they're so consumed on everybody else's opinion except theirs. And yes, we can talk about a lot of girls do it to prove a point to themselves. Like, yes, I can do that. Yes, I can use that man. Yes, I can get this from that man. Yes, they do that. But what comes first is other people's opinions, their friends, family, people on social media watching them. They have to prove a point of, I'm this baddie, I can get this from a man. Everybody that's watching her, she wants them to know, oh, well, I'm this and that. And that's obviously seeking attention, of course, right? And so she can hear everybody saying, oh, wow, girl, you can do it. Or you're so this, you're so that. And it's just back to ego. Ego is the main factor as well, of course. But ego does have to do with to prove a point, because most of the time when people want to prove a point, it's going to be to other people they don't even know. So I hope this video helped you guys out. And if it did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. Make sure you follow me on my social media. Make sure you, of course, check out my second YouTube channel. And you guys will see me in my next video. Bye, guys.